Welcome to Meathead Test Kitchen, where food and fitness come to hang out. Nutrition, training, and life. It's all fair game on Meathead Test Kitchen.
The table.
Do you want to address the pre-pro for this episode and how I liked you and then I didn't, Joss? just for some context here before we do the intro, I love Pittsburgh and I love the Penguins. And Joss was like, "Oh, I love Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's a great city." I'm like, "It is beautiful." And then she's like, "I'm a all Pittsburgh teams fan. I love the Steelers." I'm like, "You could stop there."
I respect that,
We're
though.
done.
I mean, at least you're all or nothing. Like you're not one of these wishy-washy bitches like me that's a White Sox fan and an Avalanche fan and a Vikings fan because you lived in fucking Iowa and nobody plays in Iowa.
Right?
It's fine.
It's okay.
It's cool.
She was promoted, then she was demoted, and now she's just Joss. You know?
She dropped as fast as she rose. The meteoric fall was as fast as the rise.
Well, just to make up for dissing her, we'll drop her next show in our social somewhere.
Yes.
You got to go support
Just
local
jossing
comedy.
around. Go.
Yes, there you go. Okay, we'll get started. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Meathead Test Kitchen, a podcast where we love food. Ain't that fucking the truth? I'm Sausha.
I'm Sadie.
If you spend enough time on social media sites, you've seen the fitness influencers have discovered dairy-based meal prep that you bump up your protein immediately. What am I talking about? You up your protein intake without.
Do you want to restart that? Let's restart that.
I tried. It's been a morning. I was late. I'm never late.
Take 2.
Okay. Welcome to Meathead Test Kitchen, a podcast where we love food. Ain't that the fucking truth? I'm Sausha.
I'm Sadie.
If you've spent enough time on social media sites, you've seen that fitness influencers have discovered a dairy-based meal prep hack to bump your protein intake without missing out on cheesy goodness in your day-to-day life. This episode is brought to you by Cottage Cheese.
You're going to be a little grossed out by the concept. If you like cottage cheese, you might not have a good time, but I'm going to convince you that it's not as fucking disgusting as you think it is. You've seen it before. Little soft white curds of cheese that are usually topped with a fresh vegetable or a fruit. A lot of people think cottage cheese is gross, but it's so good for you if you're trying to work your body composition into an aesthetic form. Or if you're just trying to lose body fat. So let's break it down, bish!
Technically, it's considered a fresh cheese, so it doesn't have an aging or ripening process like a block of cheddar would, for example. I know for some people, cottage cheese can be very off-putting. So it's a textural thing, I think, for most people. But we're going to hold your hand and help it make it more palatable for you and visually pleasing in a bit after you get to know the lowdown and why you should be eating it.
So I feel like I'm ahead of the curve. I used to work for a grocery store chain.
Ahead of the curve, would you say?
Yeah, ahead of the curve. Boom, first dad joke of the day.
Welcome.
While she sips her coffee. So I used to work at a regional grocery store. It's not even regional anymore. They're like all over the place. I used to work in the Hy-Vee deli. And when we made our lasagnas, instead of ricotta, we put cottage cheese in there. And everyone always thought that was fucking disgusting. They're like, this is a sacrilege. How can you say that that's even remotely Italian food? You don't put fucking cottage cheese in there. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm just doing what the fucking recipe book says. Now I come to find out, I was meal prep hacking for all these motherfuckers in middle of nowhere, Iowa, and they didn't even appreciate it. Rude. So cottage cheese is made from curds of pasteurized cow milk, and it's so easy to make that you can do this shit at home. You have to curdle the milk to make the cheese. Now, this is the unpleasant part of cheese making. Cheese is curdled milk. I hate to pull that Band-Aid off for you. It might fuck with your brain a little bit if you have taste aversions. But, sorry, not sorry. It's a fact of life.
Just don't think about it.
Yeah, just don't look. Just don't look. When the acidity increases, curds of casein protein separate from the whey, which is the part of the milk that we know very well as a tasty dehydrated powder that we like to drink in shake form. So
that bag of protein that you have sitting in your cupboard
is a byproduct of making cheese. I just ruined that for you.
It's curdled milk. Once the curd is solid, it's cut into smaller pieces and cooked to remove more moisture. If you've ever added cottage cheese to eggs, there's still more. You'll get like very fluffy eggs.
Yes,
because there's a lot of water in there.
Yes.
Then you wash it and drain it to remove all of that liquid, and now you know how to make your own cottage cheese on the fly. With this info what you will, meatheads.
Oh, cottage cheese is super versatile. It is such a good base for like anything that you want to do, be it sweet, savory, fucking anything in between. It's super versatile. It comes in different fat contents depending on what you're looking for. If you have nutritional goals, this is where you need to do some label reading when it comes to your cottage cheese, because not all cottage cheeses are created equal.
No, they are not.
Some taste better because they have more milk fat, but that doesn't always necessarily fall into line with your nutrition goals. So you can find, there's generally 3 different types of cottage cheese. You have non-fat, which is just what you think. It has little to no fat content, less than 0.5%. Think skim milk. Low fat has some fat content, usually around 1 to 2%, just like 1 to 2% milk. So that one falls in the middle. That one's a good middle of the road if you're like first getting into cottage cheese and you're using it to find fitness goals. I just moved my mouse and it sounded like a fart. I didn't fart on the microphone, I promise.
Sure.
And then you have the good shit. The full fat cottage cheese usually clocks in at about 4% milk fat, which is similar to whole milk.
Yes. There's also different curd sizes. And they vary based on how you deal with food textures. It runs the gamut from small, medium, and large to creamed and whipped varieties. My preference is smaller curd. I don't want to chew it. I guess is what I'm trying to get
I don't
at.
have a problem with chewing it. It's that squeaky cheese feeling when you're chewing it. I love it. It's like mozzarella.
Know. Yeah, for me, I want the smaller curd. But why is it so good for you? Curd size, be damned. If you can get past the texture, cottage cheese is fucking nutritional powerhouse. I sneak it into anything and everything I can. I'm not lying.
You got kids?
Oh,
Sneak
yeah.
that shit in
You know how you grind up your vegetables and sneak it in your mac and cheese? You can also do that with cottage cheese.
Extra super stealthy, sneaky fucking pasta sauce, whipped cottage cheese, and blended vegetables. Go.
Let's go. One half cup serving of low-fat cottage cheese provides you with 14 grams of protein. That's a half cup. That's not much.
That's like,
you get a ton of protein out of that.
That much by that much is a half cup.
Yes. You get 3 grams of carbs, 1 gram of fat for 81 fucking calories. 81 calories? Hell yeah, sign me up. This is why we love cottage cheese.
Because if you're eating for volume, you can't get any fucking better than that. You have 160 total-ish calories for a cup of cottage cheese. And a cup of cottage cheese is going to keep you full for several hours. Unless you're lactose intolerant. And then you're going to have a bad time.
That's fine. You can just go to the bathroom for a really long time, and it will be okay.
Now, if you are lactose intolerant and you don't want to spend 45 minutes praying to the gods on the toilet, you can get on the creamy cheesy party. You just need to find a good lactose-free variant. Those do exist. I have not seen them in Omaha, Nebraska grocery stores, but I'm sure if you live in a city bigger than ours, that's probably there and plentiful. Protein accounts for over 70% of the calories in cottage cheese, and this is why we're doing an entire fucking episode about it, because everybody and their dog, their mother, their sister, their brother, their fucking cousin 2 towns over is always looking for ways to eat more protein.
It's hard to eat 160 grams of protein in a day.
I took on 2 friends as clients recently, and you know what the first thing they said to me was? How do I get my
protein in?
They didn't bitch at me about workouts. They're like, eating enough protein is hard.
It is.
Yes. It's fucking difficult.
It needs to be like the centerpiece of every meal.
Yes.
But you can sneak in additional protein with cottage cheese.
Yeah, dude. So in about 100 calories of lean beef, you get like 13 to 15 grams of protein. For that same 100-ish calories, so let's see, we had 81 calories with 14 grams, so we're talking probably another 20 calories, which is, you'd probably looking at about 20 grams of protein in 100 calories of cottage cheese, which is better than ground beef. What? Make it make sense.
Yeah. A note, if you plan on working hella cottage cheese into your daily nutrition, make sure that you keep an eye on the sodium content because it can get out of hand pretty quickly. Thankfully, they make low sodium versions of cottage cheese as well.
I mean, this is an incentive to make your own, too, because when you make your own shit, you know everything that goes in it, and you don't have to add all that extra salt. Because when they add the extra salt, salt is a preservative. Not only is it a flavor enhancer, not only does it keep us from getting dehydrated, but it's also a preservative for everything that we eat when you buy something prepackaged.
Yeah.
So anytime you're buying something prepackaged, you should always be looking at the sodium content, unless it's like fresh fruit or vegetables. They're not sneaking sodium into your carrot sticks. But if you're cutting, you should 1,000% be including cottage cheese into your daily nutrition because of the high protein count and the low calorie content. The other protein in cottage cheese has been shown to help you feel fuller longer, and we all know how fantastical that shit is when you're in a calorie deficit because you're always hangry.
Yes, you don't want to have the hunger pains or lash out at somebody because you're hangry.
I need to just get a cake and keep it in the freezer for my husband. Like, I need like 7 of them. And they just say, I'm sorry for what I said when I was hangry.
No, for real. If I'm asking where we're going to eat and you take 10 fucking minutes, you had 3 minutes to make that decision before I'm just being a bitch.
This is why I chose my husband to be my partner forever. We have a system. And that system is, hey, we need to eat. Okay, well, how many minutes away from ripping my head off are you? And it's usually like 10 to 30 minutes. So if there's 10 minutes before Phil's going to die, we're getting fucking Kane's stat. There's 30 minutes, I might be able to pull something out of the freezer and put a pizza in the oven.
I need to implement that system with Brian because...
We have a red, yellow, green system.
Here's the deal, though. Brian owns his own business, so he has to make decisions all day.
So does Phil.
I run a department, so I have to make decisions all day.
Same.
So I don't want to make decisions when I get home.
Nobody warned me that adulthood was going to be so much fucking thinking about the next meal that you're going to have to prepare forever. I can deal with paying a mortgage. I can deal with taxes. I can deal with fucking having to get a mammogram because I'm almost 40. What is this bullshit about what are we going to eat every fucking day for the rest of my life? I don't like it.
Cottage cheese.
Cottage cheese. Oh, God.
Period. Forever.
The dog farts in our house would be amazing.
Every meal is just cottage cheese from now on. Buy it in bulk at Costco.
Oh, my God.
Cottage cheese also offers calcium, which is very, very important. If you are a carrier of a uterus, it is good for us because we are prone to bone loss as we age.
Yes.
We've done episodes on that before. Go back and listen to everything. Dietary calcium has been associated with the metabolic process that reduce fat accumulation and accelerate fat loss. TLDR, eat your fucking cottage cheese.
Yeah. Dietary calcium is really important in a lot of women and femmes and trans people that have uteri are learning the hard way that when you're on Ozempic, it makes your bones deteriorate. So there are these really, really hot 25-year-olds that are on social media now that look thin and they're where they want to be, feeling good about their bodies. They go for a checkup and they found out that they're already in osteoporosis land. Eat your fucking dairy, especially if you are on GLP-1s, because again, this is my big beef with GLP-1s, is that we don't have enough information to study how they are used specifically for weight loss. GLP-1s have been around for a while. They have been causing unintended weight loss in people with I don't remember what type. Is it type 2 diabetes?
I think it's type 2.
Type 2 diabetes. It's the one that you get,
could
not
be
the
wrong.
one that you're born
We're
with.
not
Type 2
doctors.
is the one that you get, not the one that you're born with.
Yes.
So when you're using these drugs for that process of weight loss, like, we don't have a shit ton of information out there in the medical community right now. Spoiler alert, if you're on GLP-1s for weight loss, you're part of a test subject, crowd, pretty much. You're basically collecting data for these people to use these drugs in this function going forward. Kind of fucking freaky when you think about it, right?
Yeah.
I'm a little freaked out by it. I wouldn't want to do it. I don't want to be look, dude, my life is already a really poorly written Final Destination movie. I don't need to do any other fucking outside variables that are going to open me up to any of that mayhem.
Yeah.
If you enjoy having muscle mass, grab a spoon, bitch. 80% of the protein content in cottage cheese is casein protein. And the problem with reading everything is that I'm not even sure that I'm pronouncing casein right.
That's why I highlighted these for you to read, because I don't know the proper pronunciation.
This is the problem of when you learn everything from books and you don't learn things from lectures. You don't know how to pronounce words. You know how to use them, but you don't know how to pronounce them. Welcome to podcasting.
If you'd like to Google it, it's CASEIN.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's casein. But anyway, eating it before bed can increase your metabolism and muscle synthesis without affecting breakdown of fats, which you need fat in your body.
Yes.
Fat helps your body work. It lubricates your joints. It helps your brain. You need to have some level of body fat. And I know that it's such a mind fuck for people, especially if they're just now walking into their fitness and nutrition journey. But if you're a femme, if you have a uterus, we have to have a higher level of just baseline body fat than men.
Yeah.
It's so unfair. I don't understand why it is that way, but it is what it is, so we fucking deal with it.
Nothing you can do about it.
Nope.
Sorry. It also leads to sustained release of amino acids into the bloodstream and muscles during the night, which we love to hear because that all reduces muscle breakdown, which you do not want.
What have we done many episodes of this podcast about? Amino acids. What are so fucking good for your muscles in a molecular level? Amino acids.
It can also help with insulin resistance, which can lead to the development of type 2 diabetes and heart disease.
Diabetes. You check your fucking blood sugar, and you check it often. There's a skit in one of my friends' albums. They did a Wilford Brimley skit, and that's what it says. It's just you check your fucking
Also,
blood
Google
sugar.
Wilford Brimley. Then you'll understand why I cannot and refuse to pronounce diabetes correctly.
Can we flash Diabetes Cat up right here
Yes.
on the socials?
Just write that down.
Diabetes Cat before topic 3. So this is all well and good. You know everything that there is to know about cottage cheese now, but how the fuck do you actually cook with it? So you can leave it in curd form, or if the curd form bothers you visually or texturally, you can hit it with a blender or a food processor. The choice is yours and yours alone. Put it in your scrambled eggs. We know it'll give the eggs a protein boost. It also adds a creamy texture to your eggs, kind of like if you put sour cream in them, which is fucking delicious, by the way. Sour cream and chives and eggs. Just put cottage cheese and chives in your eggs. Thanks for teaching me that one, Bobby Flay.
You did something, Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby Flay taught me a whole lot about brunch when I was a kid.
Cheese sauce. Hello. You can make any fucking cheese sauce under the sun. Cottage cheese makes a ripping Alfredo sauce too. 10-10, no notes. I made, we talked about this on a couple episodes ago, but I made cottage cheese queso. Fuck yeah. My only thing is, when you're putting cottage cheese in a blender, you may want to add, if you don't do regular milk, you could add some almond milk or even just some water. Just a little bit, maybe like a tablespoon or 2, depending on how much you have in there, just to... because it's going to get, like, whipped, basically.
It'll get really gummy if you don't put just a tiny amount of liquid in there, like a tablespoon.
Yeah.
Not even very much. Hardly any. If there is, like, liquid in the cottage cheese when you pour it into the blender, perfect. That's enough.
Yeah. It's that, you know what it looks like. Have you ever eaten cottage cheese? It kind of separates a little bit.
Stuff
Not
that
like
sits
in a
on the
bag.
top.
Yeah, it's the stuff. It's probably
As long
casein.
as it's not moldy, it's fine.
Yeah, you're good. Give it a sniff. Anyway.
Good sniff.
Get dippy with it, too. You can make... if you don't like to make recipes, you can freeball cottage cheese dip pretty easily. Pick some herbs, couple spices, shit. You can put ranch powder in there.
Yeah.
The spicy ranch powder.
Oh,
yeah.
comes in a shaker bottle. It's so
super
good.
protein boosted veggie dip. I mean, that's a super easy snack. It keeps you full. My suggestion is to use, like, my husband always eats cottage cheese with just like chips, but you could just use like cut up those mini bell peppers. Perfect for that. You get a little snappiness to it, and you're
they're
eating
a little
protein.
boat. They're perfect.
They're like scoops, but in veggie form.
Yeah.
You can even use it to make bread or bagels. Also very good. You probably want to blend that up. You can make pizza crust with it too. There's all kinds of recipes out there. Eventually we'll have a cookbook and we'll put all this stuff in there. But look up cottage cheese recipes. There's even, that fucking fluffy salad that you always have at like Thanksgiving.
Oh, like ambrosia or whatever it is.
Cottage cheese, pineapple, and then you put some Jell-O in there.
Cottage cheese Oreo fluff, bro. Low fat Cool Whip, whipped cottage cheese, 100-calorie packs of Oreo thins. You're welcome.
They also make a protein cookie dough batter. I always put that with like Greek yogurt, but you could whip up some cottage cheese and throw that in there. It's like 50 total calories. It's got a little bit of protein in there. I think it's like, it might be 75. Anyway, it's like 12 grams of additional protein in that.
So
I'll take a picture and post it on the interwebs.
Speaking of the cookbook, I bought 3 food photography books this week, so we're getting real fucking serious about this goddamn cookbook.
We have half the recipes
Dude,
done.
it's written. It's fucking written. It is done. We literally just need to make the food and take the photos, and that's the hardest part about writing a fucking cookbook.
Yes. No, that's why it takes so damn long.
Food photography is difficult and takes a lot of like...
The Red Bowl on TikTok, I fucking love all of her recipes. She never talks, but she makes every single thing from scratch, including pasta, her buns, all of that.
Yeah.
People have been begging her for a cookbook for like 2 years, but it's like taking, it's not product placement, but food photos, it's tough.
I mean, we could hire somebody. We have a really great photographer that we know, but it's like,
yeah.
Or I do it all myself. That way we don't have to give any profit to anybody.
Inside baseball. Anyway, you can make bread, bagels. Maybe you scrunch your nose at that, but it is possible and they taste really good.
Yeah, self-rising flour is your friend if you're going to do that. Blend the cottage cheese. It's like a 3-ingredient bagel. It's just cottage cheese, the shit.
Self-rising flour
and a
is
little
what
bit
I
of
use.
salt.
Yep, just a tiny bit. You don't have to add anything else because that flour already has everything in there.
Yep. And you can even turn your cottage cheese into cream cheese.
Yep.
To put on top of that bagel.
Whip that shit up.
Yeah.
Put some spices in there, and you're good to go.
All cottage cheese all the time.
Yep.
Go. With a little practice and some creativity, you can turn cottage cheese into the most beautiful cheesy delight that you can imagine. The world is your oyster. But don't put cottage cheese on oysters because that's fucking gross.
Well, texturally. Sorry.
You want some cottage cheese on your snot on a shell? Grab some sick MTK merch to wrap your favorite podcaster's favorite podcast at the gym, the Clock app, or on the gram. Show notes, training templates, and personal training services are all at meatheadtestkitchen.com. Meathead Test Kitchen. Out.
Join Sadie and Sausha every Monday, helping to make your fitness and nutrition journey suck less. MTK.